Hey, what's up, everybody? It is real time with Prince Blue. It is January the 28th. It is 8 o'clock as always. This is going to be a really good episode, a special episode. I say that about every episode, but this one is really going to be good because for y'all, for most of y'all that know or don't know, I am a huge sports talk fan. Philly sports talk fan. Like I consume it. I love it. I love listening to it. I love devouring it. I love everything about it. And what comes with Philly sports talk radio, well, what used to, and we're going to get into that, is you get the unique culture, and part of that is the fan base, and a huge part of the Philly sports talk culture is the callers. Say what you want, good, bad, or indifferent. The callers, it just makes it unique. It makes it organic. And a lot of people that I come in contact with have been based on calls. And one of those is the gentleman I have with me right here, my man, Mike from Delran. Mike from Delran. Let me tell you something. The dude calls in, and at any given time, you don't know what you can get from Mike. You can get Mike talking Sixers, hockey, Eagles. You can get him getting his kids ready for school. You can tell him, hey, go play. You can tell him you can get anything you get from Mike from Delran. But what I like about him is he's genuine, he's passionate, and he always brings it with his phone calls. He's always ready to go on cue. So I want to introduce to y'all my man, Mike from Delran. Mike, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Yeah, listen, I really appreciate you letting me come on tonight, and I appreciate all the kind words. Same back to you. Uh, Appreciate everybody watching. And you're right. It's a caller's a unique individual because you gotta be ready to go. If you listen to sports talk radio, you can tell the guys that just want to call because they like to hear themselves talk and they probably don't know what they're saying or talking about or they bumble. Some of it, I work 45 minutes away, so 2 times a day I'm in the car for 45 minutes, and if I have nothing going on, I disagree or agree with something, I'm gonna call in if I have a feeling, if I have something to say. But appreciate it, man. I'm ready to get into this, man. Let's do it.
I appreciate you, Mike. And one of those things, we're gonna jump right into it. Like I said, I heard about you from making a phone call. They would be like, "Hey, we got Mike from Delran on the mic. What's up, Mike?" And you would come in and you would talk about yesterday's game or something that's bothered you, or something you agree or disagree with. But one of the things I always enjoyed about your calls, Mike, was you you got your point across without it coming across as being a character. Like certain callers, like people may not know, like an Ingy
Yeah.
or like a Mike from the KOP. Like they're like characters, and you're like, I, you just sense that it's a stick. It's like they're in the mirror. They're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to say. It's going to get a rise out of people. Blah blah blah. But what I get from you is genuine. You love your sports, and you genuinely want to converse with the host of the show, and you want to get their unique opinions about things. So, with that said, um, we've been through a lot of generations of sports talk radio in Philadelphia in general. We just me and you we connected from we went from Gargano in the mornings to Farzetta and Trey in the mornings to Farzetta in the mornings to now Kincaid and I don't know what else in the mornings. Let's just talk about those transitions in sports talk media and how you feel about them as they are right now.
Yeah. So Gargano in the morning. Gargano's been a staple around the city for a long time, right? You can love or hate him, but I always enjoyed listening. And I'll be honest, when they moved him and they brought Farzetta, and I didn't know much about Farzetta, and I wasn't excited. I didn't like the move, and the more I got to know Mark, I thought that was probably the greatest. A lot of people won't agree, but to me, Farzetta and Trey made me feel like they weren't any different than me. Like Like I was no different than them. Like it could have been them calling my show. You know, as long as you were conscious of how much time you were going on there, you weren't blabbing, and you got off. You know, it was good stuff. And I had a great opportunity getting to meet Mark and Trey and hang out with them outside of all that. You know, after like the when they did the cornhole league like tournament and at Fan Fest and I got and Bob as well, Bob Cooney and Jamie Lynch. That whole show from all four of them, I loved it. And you know, getting to meet, because I don't live far away from Bob. Bob still, and Bob, if you see this, you still need to get in my garage, right? You said you were coming, you need to get here. But I enjoyed it because they made you feel like you were part of that team, right? You know, now, you know, I didn't like when they let Trey go. I didn't like it, you know, from what I heard from behind the scenes stuff. I didn't like it, you know. And then when Mark got let go, that's kind of when I really was like, man, what are we doing? Like if you pay attention now, if anyone's listening to the morning show now, you know, Bob and Jamie still my guys. I love them guys. I don't know John Kincaid. You know, he was here 20 years ago. Listen, 20 years ago, I wasn't calling Sports Talk Radio. You know what I mean? 30 seconds once a week, hang up, not let you get your point across. Now, listen, I get it. You run a show. That might work in Atlanta, right? You might be able to get away with that in Atlanta. But you keep bragging about how you're back home, brother. You're home in Philly. Well, did you forget? Because I ain't left. And that stuff, like guys like me or guys like you or guys like that, like genuinely want to give their input and get feedback and have a conversation about something and try to make at least their 2 minutes interesting. You know, they don't. I feel like the guy in the chair today, I don't know if he understands that. And, you know, I've talked to Bob and Jamie both on the side about it, you know, and they understand it. And I listen, you know, I'm still listening. You know, I'll call in on a Monday morning and I'll try to get my point across. If anybody's heard me, they know I always like to end with a go Birds. Well, my first conversation with Kincaid, he cut me off. Yo, come on, bro. Let me get my go Birds. I was 30 seconds. But, and you know what else? It's like we have a lot going on right now in our city of sports. I mean, if you think about it, with everything with the Eagles, right? The Flyers looking decent, right? The Sixers 10-0 as the starters play, 12-1 with Embiid, right? You got Phillies getting Ramuto back, and you got all this stuff going on. Callers are going to want to like get into it. They want to get passionate about it. They don't want to hear 30 minutes about why Magic Johnson's not like a scumbag. If you listen to that this morning, I don't care about Magic Johnson. Like, what do I care about him for? He's an LA Laker. He don't matter to me. Like just things like that. Like, and yeah, like Farzetta and Trey, they could get on tangents, but they get on funny stuff. Like they try to be funny about it. I don't need the host to tell me that he knows Shaq. Like, okay, cool. It was cool to listen to Shaq for a few minutes, but I mean, it was okay. It's Shaq, bro. I can listen to Charles Barkley in the afternoon sometimes. You know, like I don't need the name dropping. I don't need the hey, check me out. This is me. You know, you beg for my time. If you've listened since he's been on the show, every time they leave a segment or they go to commercial, it's, are you watching us? Are we your side piece? Are we this and that? Yeah, I am. But when I call in, you give me 25 seconds and an FU. And I'm like, I don't like that. I'm souring on that. I don't know how you feel. What are your thoughts, man?
You know what? You sound just like me. You're just white and bearded. So pretty much it's like looking in the mirror. So pretty much this is my thing. Jamie, Pat, even Bob. I know I give Bob a hard time, but those guys support him. I support them, man. The good dudes, and I just know how talented Jamie is. I just know, like, if you just let him do his thing, man. He's ready. With Kincaid, I like, dude, you just sounds like he just sounds like he likes to hear himself. And Philly, we don't like the guy that likes to hear himself. We like the guy that likes to talk to us and be like, hey, what do you think? And that's, say what you want. Some people said Farzy was campy or whatever, but Farzy was one of us.
Right.
He was that dude. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, I'll throw in a fart joke. Yeah, I'll talk about my promiscuous cousin, because that's all of us. That's us. We can't relate to a 60-something-year-old dude that hang out at Augusta or hobnobs with Shaq or like okay. But
Right.
guess what? Farzy, God bless him, he has a daughter. He tried to put together a cabinet or some that stuff we can relate to. James, he was just moved into a new house. That stuff we can relate to. We can't relate to Augusta or
No.
hobnobbing with Shaq, or Shaq owns a huge mansion and he's next to Tiger Woods. We're like,
Or do you
we
know
don't
Magic
care.
Johnson? Because I've spent more than an hour with him. All right, dude.
Okay, I don't care.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't care. Good for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all about being relatable. So pretty much what we get from the 2 to 6 is what we're getting in the morning.
Yes.
It's a reason why that guy had to get two other people to kind of bring him in touch with reality a little bit. And it's a reason why he seems a little bit phony too with his little alt music and his little woke movement he's trying to do, because he feels like he's out of touch with everybody else.
I couldn't agree
You know
more
what I'm
with that.
saying?
I stopped listening
So,
to that show a while ago because I couldn't do it. Listen, we all have our beliefs, right? We all feel
mhm.
passionate about stuff, but we turned, at least for me, I turned to sports to kind of have that same common thing with everyone else that wants sports, right? I don't need you to tell me for 4 hours how we're all so different, how everyone's so separated and divided. I don't need that. That's everywhere else, Mike. Like, and you're right, man. He needed to bring in a young white female and a young black man to feel relatable. I'll tell you what, when he threw that headset, should have been over for Mike. That should have been it. That was, in my opinion, should have been it. You're right. He's too old. It's like I won't listen to 610 and I won't listen to WIP because I can't relate to Angelo. The dude's like 100. Like, sometimes you got to move on. And I guess the ratings aren't hard to get that time of night. Somehow they're still surviving, but he would never survive in the morning. That's why he's not in the morning.
Right. I've already showed you the DM that he sent me when he was saying, you should be thankful about all the civil rights and stuff I'm doing. And then I responded to him, you need to start with the own black man that produces your show. You threw headphones at him because you disagreed with him.
Right.
That's where you need to start before you start overcoming and marching on Selma and 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 fighting for the right to party and all that other crap you want to woke to. You got to start in house.
Yep.
And that's the problem I have with people like Mike Mizzanelli and things like that. If you're going to stand on something and you want to tell the Mike from Delrance and everybody else how bad they are because they're white, or how bad they should feel because they're white, like, dude, have your own shit to stand on. Because guess what? I don't know Mike from Delrance from Mike from Piscataway. But guess what? He ain't never done shit to me, so he shouldn't feel guilty about a damn thing. And that's the issue I've had with that whole white guilt thing.
Yeah.
I don't want you, Mike. I don't want you coming on the radio apologizing. I'm sorry for what have you done? I as far as I know, you're not a Highlander. You wasn't there in the 1800s. Far as I know, right now, if it was a game on right now, I'll be right next to you watching it in
Damn
your
right.
man cave.
You're damn right.
So sports is a microcosm. That's the one thing I love about sports, and we gonna be all over the place, guys, because this is real time principle. Ain't none of this shit structured. In any given stadium, you can have a skinhead, a Muslim, a black man, a Hispanic man right next to each other. Miles Sanders scores a touchdown. We high fiving,
All of us.
sharing drinks,
Right.
hugging, everything.
Right.
That's what sports does. So when we go to the radio and we're happy about sports, but then we got to hear for 4 hours how no, but you're still white and you're still black and you're still different and you should feel this way. That's why we roll our eyes.
Yep.
It's not because we don't want to hear about equality or we don't want change. It's because you're beating us over the head with it. We want to escape. We don't want to hear about it every single moment of our lives. I mean, am I far off, Mike?
No, and you know what? I really can appreciate that we're having this conversation because it's good to hear a perspective different from my own, right? Because, like, you're right. I hear him, the white guy this, the white man this, and I hear that. And listen, I have an African-American brother-in-law and an African-American cousin. I can tell you right now, I've been to more marches to support them in BLM than Mike has ever had, right? So, but I don't need to display all that. There's people on Twitter that, like, we were both friends with that kind of came at me a few times. Like, they know about me. Like, listen, you don't know about me. You don't know about me to make these like assertions. I thought I thought the whole point of it was not to generalize and stereotype. But man, Mike sure as hell loves doing a lot of that today. But no, I agree with you 100%. Everyone's the same, right? You love everybody the same. And that's always been I've been that way. That's how I raise my kids. Nothing matters. None of that other stuff to me matters. I mean, it's important. That's why I support. But like you said, when it comes to sports, listen, if we were sitting together watching the Super Bowl, I'd have hugged and cried you just like you would have hugged and cried with me, my man. Trust me. You know what I mean?
Believe
I hugged
that.
And cried for a while, bro.
And I know for a fact that you not sitting here, you be like, man, we need a touchdown. I hope a white man scored. Or if I need a 3-pointer, I'm like, man, I hope JJ Redick make it.
Yeah.
Or no, I hope Embiid make it, not JJ Redick. I don't give a shit who makes it. Just
we don't
make
have any white shooters. What are we gonna do? Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with you. Meanwhile, the best shooter in the league, Steph Curry, right? Like, oh, we don't have one. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, man.
But funny. That's the thing about Philadelphia. The whole sports culture. It's something that it's always been able to unite it. I mean, sometimes it brings out the ugly in us, and sometimes you see, there's Eagles fans, and then there's Eagles fans.
Yeah.
Like, we get that, but for the most part, it's a family, it's a community. Right. Like, I've seen it on Twitter, like when somebody comes at one person, like, it's nothing like Eagles Twitter, and it's amazing because, like, me and you could be going at it, and then if an outsider says something, you and I will go at that outsider. Yeah, right. We'll team up and go at that out. We'll totally forget you and I was just going at it. Right. And that's the beauty about Philadelphia sports. And getting back to sports talk radio, it's an escape. Like, and the personalities, we feel like they are somebody that we can relate to, because let's be honest, the print media is close to almost they're gone. Before, the print media used to be a conduit for us. They used to be the voice of, but now they have their own agenda. You have the ESPs who he don't want Carson Wentz to talk because the fans want him to talk. Right. He want Carson Wentz to talk so he could pick him apart. So he could say how he's selfish, or so he could pick apart, so he can do his own agenda. Yep. And this is the thing where people like myself or you or other content creators, Main Event, T Will, Pierre.
Yep.
Big
shout out to T Will, by the way, too. He's got some medical.
Big shout out to T Will. Full Court Press. Yep. That's my dude, man. He really knows he knows his fucking hoops, man. Yep. But content creators like that, when they're, we just want to talk about sports. We don't have an agenda. We want to talk about the sport. We want to debate about the sport, and we want to have fun. These guys, they have a take. They want to stick to the take. They want to be absolutely right. They don't want to be wrong. And it's no fun anymore. It's like, how many games have we won on a Sunday, Mike? And you'll listen, coming back to radio. And on a Monday, it feels like we lost.
Yeah, a lot this season. A lot.
And it was only 4 wins.
I know, 4 times. Yeah.
And they picked the hell out of those wins. Yeah, like, I can remember when we beat the Saints, they was like, well, they ran the ball a lot. I'm like, but we've been crying about running the ball for 20 years.
Right.
So, why are we so upset?
I am absolutely nuts about the perception that Carson Wentz needs to say something. So I love the bro, right? But me and him were going back and forth on Twitter today about it. And it says, your head coach that helped you win a Super Bowl got fired. You should probably talk to him. Well, listen, there were 10 other coaches that got fired. I didn't see any other starting quarterbacks coming out and saying thank you.
I have not. I have not.
Like, I don't understand why I don't understand this expectation. The idea, like, that he wants to get traded and all this. Listen, I don't know anything. I don't talk to him. I don't talk to the guy. But it's obvious it was Doug or Carson, and the leadership of the team chose Carson. Like, there's a reason for that. I get it. He was garbage. He was dog shit, pardon my language, this season. No doubt. But, there was 52 other players on that team that weren't that great either. You know what I mean? So, like, the other day, like I said, I told you I had family here at my house. We were waiting for the Mayweather fight. I had gotten the Mayweather fight here, and put in the DVD of the Super Bowl run. You know, every year they come out the Blu-ray DVD of whoever wins, and I watched that. It was a recap every week, 1 through 17 of that season. And man, I'm telling you what, I'm sorry, I can't give up on that talent that I saw. I gotta hope somewhere deep down it's there, and Doug just couldn't get it. But at the same time, if he can't, I liked what I saw from some of Jalen Hurts too. Like, you can like both guys. Like, for months they were pounding this idea that it had to be one or the other. Like, it's not. It's just a weird situation. But you're right. I don't feel like sports talk radio really starts talking about what I'm thinking about anymore. And if maybe that's me, maybe if I'm not changing with time, I don't know what it is. But these people that call the radio today, and especially 30 seconds to talk, it's like, do you know what you're talking? Like, do you really believe what you're talking about, or do you just want to hear yourself talk?
It's the debate culture, Mike. You have to have a side today.
Yeah,
you have to have a side. So it's either Jalen Hurts or it's either Carson Wentz. And I'm with you. And I disagree with Jamie too, because there's nothing that Carson Wentz can say that's going to please anybody. Anybody. Because if he comes out for Doug, they're going to be like, well, why didn't they say anything about Sirianni? If he welcomes Sirianni, well, shit, why you ain't say nothing about Doug?
What is he supposed to come out and say? Is he supposed to say, Doug was a great guy, he did a lot, I know he'll do good things. Like, you're going to be lying. You're going to call him a liar if he says that, because you already have a preconceived notion he didn't like him. So then if what does he do? Comes out and says, me and Doug just didn't get along. Then you're an asshole. Like, what do you want me to say?
The best thing I said for everybody is he needs to, when it's time for players to talk, that's when they can ask his questions, when he can control it, and they can see tone, and they can see body language, and they can't pick apart a statement. You saw it today. He gave congratulations to Rodney McLeod. All you heard was, it was written for him. It wasn't sincere. And I was like, see, now imagine if he came out with something about Doug Peterson. Y'all would pick that apart.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
why. And you know what? I'm a huge Carson Wentz guy. I'm like, I can't give up time too, but this drama is why I'm ready to give up on him, because I just want to focus on. I want to just focus on the game. Remember this year, every Sunday it was, what is John McClain going to write about this Sunday? Every Sunday, like clockwork, we had some new bullshit that came out before the game where we couldn't focus on the game.
Yeah,
I'm sick of it. So if that means moving on from him, then so be it, man.
I'll tell you what, I give him till week 4 next season. You have to week 4. If you ain't going to show me that you were 2017 Carson Wentz still, and if you're not high-fiving your teammates, and if you're not rallying them on the sideline, and if you're not doing what you did that season, then you know what? I'm ready to move on from you too. I'm not ready to do it now, though. He's got to play. I got to see him with this new guy, Sirianni. I don't know nothing about him, but I got to see it first.
Mike, let me ask you something. I know, of course, you're not in the locker room. This is the $1 million question. What is it about Carson Wentz that it seems to not galvanize the guys? What is it?
But you know what, though? You hear guys, you hear veterans come out and say he's our leader, he's the guy. I don't really hear, the only negative I hear from sources, right? You don't.
That's funny. True too.
It's funny when it's the positive. The guy will put his face right on TV. Jason Kelsey, right? Hurts, Fletcher Cox, right?
Brandon Graham.
Brandon Graham. They put their face to it. They'll tell you he's our guy. He's a great guy, locker room guy. The negative is sources, and we all think we know one of the main sources, right? And for a wide receiver to be upset with his quarterback is not a surprise to me. I don't think that's indicative of the man's character. I just don't know what to believe. I really don't. It's tough. It's really tough. If somebody would come out with their face and say Carson Wentz is an asshole, then I'm like, what? He didn't have no problem saying it. He had no problem putting his face to it.
Because you know what's weird? Some players have done that about Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
Some have done it about Big Ben.
Yep.
But we have not heard anything about Carson. That's why it's something. I would not be surprised, because we've seen this before. It's been a lot of guys that have been highly religious in sports, and guys have not been able to wrap their heads around them, because let's be honest, in sports it's different. You got pussy everywhere, money, everything. Here, this guy, food trucks, building houses, family man,
yep,
good landlord, free rent, You know, he's not about all that.
Although, yeah, he's from North Dakota.
Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean just because you're a strong Christian, you can't be a fun guy or you can't galvanize people because you've had Kurt Warner.
Yep.
You've had other guys of strong faith that has been able to lead teams and they will run through walls. But for some reason, when it comes to Carson Wentz, it's just
there's something.
It's just something there. And I can't figure it out. And it bothers me because normally, let's say when Aaron Rodgers, yes, I believe he's a prick. I believe he's a stuck-up douche. I believe he's it's like Aaron Rodgers could throw for 50 touchdowns and it would look like he's only thrown 7. He looks miserable.
Right.
He does not look happy at all. So I could understand why people can't stand Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But he's generational. So sometimes when you just play with somebody that's generational like that, you follow him.
You think anybody likes Michael Jordan? No. No.
Well, some people did. Dennis Rodman loves him.
Yeah.
Charles Oakley loved him.
Fellow assholes.
Yeah. You know what? Boom. Yeah. Kobe. God rest his soul.
Scottie Pippen was a huge fan for a while.
No, Scottie Pippen was not he's still not a huge fan of Mike.
Kukoc didn't like him.
Not a huge fan of Mike.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. You know what? It's funny. I always wondered, like, if I could get a guy that was in the locker room for that season, like, what the rest of the team thought about Chris Long putting the shrine up for Nick Foles. Like, I mean, on the outside looking in, at first I just thought, oh yeah, Nick's doing great things. That's funny, right? But then, like, if I'm in the locker room, is that more of a joke? Like, is there more to that to other people in that locker room that kind of?
Let me tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why Nick got that shrine and why he deserved that shrine. Nick was what, a 4th round pick?
Yeah, I think so, 4th or 5th.
Gangly, runs like a drunken giraffe.
Napoleon
all
Dynamite.
shucks. Through 27-7, shipped off.
27-2.
27-2, went to die with Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
Almost was going to retire. Was talked out of retirement. Came back. Followed an MVP who went out. Everybody was saying, you're gone. You're garbage. Too bad this season is done. Dude was a tipped interception away from blowing it in Atlanta.
Yeah.
To putting on arguably the greatest performance we will ever see in this lifetime and ending a 53-year drought.
Yeah.
Not even a drought because we've never even won one, but just being there, winning. Nick Foles, out of all the
chills, man. Get chills again. Oh,
thank you. The motherfucker deserved that shrine. Build another one.
Yeah.
Nick Foles. Nick Foles. Like, when you watch those highlights, when you watch that game, Nick Foles.
Lights out.
And people forget he could have had one more. That interception tipped off of Alshon Jeffrey's hands.
They could have been back there.
He outplayed the GOAT.
Yep. Yes, he did. Deserves that. He deserves that. She deserves that statue outside. I mean, you know, and I remember those arguments too. I wouldn't have picked Foles over Wentz. I understand the long term.
No.
But doesn't mean the guy doesn't deserve everything, man. Everything. Guy has a key to the city.
And I tell people again, Nick Foles outplayed the GOAT quarterback, the GOAT head coach, and he outplayed his own defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Because Jim Schwartz allowed Tom Brady to throw for 4 miles.
Man, you're right. He could walk into my house at dinner time. I'll give him my seat at the head of the table any day, man. Any day.
I even say a prayer. Put your Bible on the table, Nick. It's your day.
Are you on Facebook? So I got Facebook, and I can remember. You know, you got that feature where you can look back at your memories on the day, and every Monday, where like, you know, I'm looking at my memories and I'm watching the national people. Oh, they can't get it done. They're not going to win. Here's why you can't do it. And man, it's just fun to go back down that memory lane. Sorry to anybody if I bored you with the memories. I'm sounding like a cow.
No, it's all good, man. So speaking of Eagles, let's talk about like let's talk about the new stuff that's coming in, the new guys that's coming in. Give me your overall opinion, or you may not even have one, just what you're thinking right now.
They weren't prepared for a coaching search, I can tell you that. There's no way they were prepared for that. If you had an idea, don't tell me it took 2 meetings with Doug. Here's what I think happened, first of all, with Doug. Doug went in there with his plan. Jeffrey Lurie didn't like it because it didn't involve Carson Wentz. And then he went home. And when Doug went home, I think Doug thought to himself, you know what? I want out of here. And I think that second meeting was like, how do we mutually get rid of this? Because this isn't going to work. And then that's when I think Howie Roseman and Lawyer were like, oh, shit. Like, what are we going to do now? By then, big names had already been interviewed, right? Coaching jobs were going. I never once heard Nick Sirianni's name for any offensive coordinator or head coach job in the NFL in the last 4 years. A lot of people are upset that Deuce got passed over, and probably so. But then again, he didn't get named for any head coach or offensive coordinator for any other team in the last 10 years, right? So it's like, who is this guy? So you look and you see he's been under Frank Reich for the longest in a bunch of different stops. Then you start connecting the dots. All right, well, maybe Carson will like a Frank Reich guy. Maybe Frank Reich got on Phillips and Carson will love this guy, right? And that's all well and good, but the man's never called a play. Like he never called one. So if you think you're going to come in and learn how to be a head coach in the NFL and practice calling plays on my Eagles team, I'm going to be upset about it, but I'm going to be real upset. I don't have an opinion on them because I haven't seen anything yet. Guy's younger than us, bro. I don't know.
And that's where, because when McVay came in, McVay called plays in Washington.
Yeah.
So we saw that offense up and close. We was like, man, this guy be cooking us.
Yeah, right. Right. They had the talent, we'd be in big trouble.
Right. So that's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at with this. This is why I don't think Sirianni's going to call the plays. I think he's going to have input on the game plan, but I think that's why the dude Steichen, however you say it, is here, because he did call plays.
Right.
So how else to ease a brand new coach in? Like, hey, you just oversee everything. You like to deal with the wide receivers and the quarterbacks and stuff like that. You be the CEO. You be like Andy-ish and look over everything and put your rah-rah stank on everything. I'll take care of the offense. You just do your thing. And then when you're ready, every now and then you put your input, some stank on the calls. And then when you're ready to take over, you take over. So that's what I think it's going to be. I don't think he's going to call plays because
you're probably right.
And if he is going to call plays, then I don't think he's going to call plays with. That's why I think if he's going to call plays, it's going to be with Carson Wentz, because you can't call plays and be with a second-year player.
No.
And think you're gonna, because I know Lurie about that money. And one thing you can't tell the Eagles Eagles fans you're going to rebuild. You got to be able to give us something. You got to give us something.
Yeah.
Something to hold on to. 6-7 games, something tangible. But if you come in here and talk, so you about to be 2-14. Ooh, I don't know, Mike.
Especially if they blow this draft pick, my man. I'm really worried about someone thinking they're smarter than everybody else. I know that it's been beaten to death, but when I sat there on draft night and I prayed for Metcalf. I watched him in college. The guy was a beast, man amongst boys. And they passed over. I'm like, all right, they got to know something I don't know. No, they didn't. They didn't know nothing we didn't know. Howie Roseman, he needs help, because I could take like, you just go on an ESPN mock draft the night of the draft and do a better job than what we've done. So who are we going? It's got to be Davis, right? It's got to be one of these wide receivers, right?
You say that, but again, Howie's a wild card. I just, like, somebody was like, there's no way he can mess this up. Yes, he can. Yes, he can, because we've seen it. One thing about Eagles fans, we've seen it to where it's a no-brainer. The guy is there. Everybody, 99% of the Eagles fan base will be excited. Pick that guy.
Yeah.
And they don't pick him. Like last year, when Adam Schefter tweeted right before the Hurts pick when he said, "Wow, the first shocker of the draft," I was like, "Oh shit,
no. Yeah."
what the fuck does that mean?" And then boom, the Eagles select Jalen Hurts quarter. I was like,
I didn't understand. Because at this point,
we
Carson
still
Wentz hadn't
don't
played
understand
terribly,
it.
right? He hadn't had a
We
bad season. Like,
we went out of that season saying, "Okay, get him some weapons."
yeah, he had
We
4
seen what
good
he do.
games, carried them to the playoffs. And then, like, I thought, okay, like injury stuff, sure, but like in the second, what? You would talk all this stuff about how good Nate Sudfeld is. What do you mean? Oh man, I'm getting angry.
And that's why. And I also want to talk about. That's why I asked the question. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. I said, "What's the difference between what Deshaun Watson is doing and what Carson Wentz is perceived to be doing? What is the difference? Why
Good question.
Deshaun Watson being painted as, oh man, yeah, get Deshaun out of there, man. He deserves it." And with Carson, it's like he's being a diva. Get him out of here. He stinks. Like Kincaid is like fully like he's calling him a baby. He's saying
unprofessional.
I can't respect him. He's unprofessional.
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, dude, pump your hair, calm down.
You just came back, buddy. You just came back.
You just came back. Like chill. Like I don't know why that's the formula. Come to a city, pick the most popular athlete, hate him.
Yeah.
Like,
this Deshaun Watson thing, like this man wanted to say on who was going to be the GM. Like, listen, bud, I get it. You got talent. You're a great player, but you haven't earned that yet. Like you got to be winning Super Bowls to be, or like
even the guy that has 6 couldn't pick his own GM.
Yeah, right. You gotta. Oh, we gotta talk about that in a minute too, because I'll tell you, as much as I hate to say it, GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
But and then Carson, all he wanted was receivers. Like, just give me a receiver. Do something.
Just give me a guy that can catch, please.
Yeah, run the ball like maybe a little bit. Like, what are we doing here? I'm with you.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, Mike, the guy that we curse at every Sunday about Miles Sanders having 3 carries for 300 yards and then never seeing the ball again. We want that guy to be head coach.
Yeah, doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense.
We want him in charge of the whole fucking team.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Man, it's gonna be a rough season, man. It's gonna be rough. But listen, I said I would sell my soul for 10 years of losing for that Super Bowl.
We've all had that.
We're paying for it. Trust me, we're paying.
That devil's collected. Like I'm just glad I didn't do some stupid shit like my third born or something like that. I sold my soul. I didn't sell my kid. People was like, "Yo, I give you my third kid." I'm like, "Whoa, hey."
Yeah, you
like,
right.
I'm glad I settled on my own soul. But Mike, I wanted to pivot real quick and speak on something serious. Everybody's been talking about the Chad Wheeler incident. If people don't know who Chad Wheeler is, he's the idiot monster jackass who beat the hell out of his girlfriend, beat her unconscious until she woke up, and then asked her was she still alive. Surprised that she was still alive, then choked her out again, proceeded to beat her again. Cops responded, and she said that he's bipolar, he's off his meds, and they arrested him, felony domestic or whatever. And it hits home with me because I'm bipolar and major depressive, and I just felt like I understand an explanation is different from an excuse, but I just feel like mental health is just too much of a convenient explanation when shit like that happens. And even past that, I'm just so upset at the coverage that it got, because this is when you're supposed to make sports work for a microcosm that's going on. And we do have that issue going on now with domestic violence and violence against women and mental health issues. And you can really make a dent in that. And they're just glossing over it because their precious fucking Super Bowl is a week away.
Yeah.
And I just want to get your thoughts on that, if
I think
real
if
quick.
there was, I'm going to be honest with you, I only started hearing about this today. I hadn't even heard much about it. If there was video, if there was something that could drag in the viewer or the listener into the shock and awe of what it was, probably would hear a lot more about it. Think about when Ray Rice got in trouble, right? Ray Rice got in trouble, domestic violence. Everybody just kind of, oh, all right, well, that's not a surprise. When the video came out, boom, everybody's blown away because you put a mental image to what happened, right? A lot of people don't understand domestic violence. A lot of people have never been a part of it, don't get it. It's worth the coverage when stuff like that happens. I mean, listen, there's a comedian, I wish I remembered his name, but he said, whoever said there's no reason to ever hit a woman is lying. There's always reasons, but you just don't do it, right? You just don't do it. And it makes me sick. I got 2 daughters, man. I got a 16-year-old daughter and I got a 3-month-old daughter. And I'll tell you right now, man, it makes me sick for stuff like that. And I agree with you. Like, mental health is a serious condition, right? People have a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Just yesterday, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, right? My whole world's going to change. And I mean, I'm the guy that eats cheesesteaks and pizza and soda.
Welcome to the club, my man.
Yeah. And so today I'm eating vegetables and salads, right? So, I understand, and with that, and as you'll know, sometimes when you're starting that, and you're first finding that out, you're on the medication, you can get mood swings, you can get angry, you can get irritated, right? You got to quit smoking. You got to, I'm a smoker, right? There's no excuse, man. There's no excuse. I'm sorry, and I'm not gonna, I've never been diagnosed with any type of mental health disorders or anything like that. But listen, I gotta understand that. I gotta believe that as a man, you gotta know that's wrong, man. You gotta know. Listen, yes, we're equal. The world is equal. Are there women out there that could probably kick my ass? Probably. But for the most part, men are strong. Men, it's just a physical. It's just unacceptable. I can't even really go on much more about it. It's just that's that simple to me.
I got you. You said more than enough, and I'm the same way, man. Like, it's just no place for it. And I meant everything I said. I said, if you're doing mental gymnastics about coming up with a reason to why there's a reason to do it, like, just don't follow me and let me know so I can block the shit out of you. I'm gonna tell your wife, Mike, because
it's the first one in a while. Baby steps, bro. I don't want to crash.
But let's talk about, because we're both repping them right now. Let's talk about let's talk about our Sixers, man. Okay, 14-6. 14-5.
14-5.
Yeah, 14-5.
10-0 when all the starters play. 12-1 when JoJo plays. Whew.
Beat the Lakers last night. Beat them pretty good, 99% of the game last night. Then took our foot off the pedal towards the end of the game. They came back, took the lead by 1, and then that underrated light-skinned assassin Tobias Harris
called game.
Yeah. With took Caruso to school, all water. Ain't even touched the rim. Tell me about them, man. What excites you about these Sixers, man?
So let me be fully upfront. I hated the Ben Simmons pick when he got drafted. I hated it. I wanted De'Aaron Fox. Being honest, I wasn't a fan. Because in my mind, if you're that good, you can't even get LSU into the tournament of 64 teams. You're not that good to me.
Oh, okay.
That was at that time. I've been vocal about my displeasure. He doesn't shoot. Everyone else. Joel Embiid. Wasn't a fan when he got drafted. Thought he would be the next Greg Oden. I sided with Julia Okafor. I'm telling you all right now, I was so wrong. Dead wrong. And I'm glad I was dead wrong. Joel Embiid this season to me, remember when the quadruple doink or the double doink, right? And we lost to the Raptors and he cried. I thought the season after was what we were going to see from him this season, and we didn't.
This Joel. Yes. Yeah, he's a year late. Right.
Yeah, he's a year late, but I see it. And I think the games kind of subsided with him, the joking around, like the being that troll kind of guy, not as much as in the past. He seems like he's ready. Ben Simmons to me is what he is. People want him to shoot. I get it. But listen, I would take Jason Kidd on my team if I'm trying to put a championship team together. I'd take John Stockton on that team. I'd take Magic on that team, right? Ben Simmons doesn't have to be that. Like you said, Tobias hit that game winner last night. I think Tobias is underrated, but sometimes I think he could also step it up too. He could be that next guy. I think with Curry, I think with Green, I think with the leadership of Dwight. I don't necessarily agree with the idea that Ben Simmons has to be a scorer for this team to win a championship. I think they could do it as is.
What bothers me? No. You're right, but what bothers me about Tobias is if I'm Doc Rivers, I'm coming to Tobias. I'm like, listen, Ben is not going to shoot. You have a green light.
Yes.
I need you to be number 2. And Ben is that Swiss Army knife. He's going to get you where you need. He's going to get you the ball to your spots on the floor.
Yep.
Ben, if I'm in it, I'm like, Ben, give me 16, 10, and 10.
That's it.
All right?
That's
your job. Give me 16, 10, and
but
10.
People don't like that because he was the number 1 pick.
Right.
Forget that.
Give me 16, 10, and 10. I'll handle everybody's. I handle the media. I'll tell them I told you to give me 16, 10, and 10, and they can kiss my ass. Yeah. Tobias, you're the number 2. Go score, big man.
Yeah.
Go get me 25. You got the green light. Sometimes I think Tobias, he doesn't have that type of dog in him that where he's like, give me the ball.
Yeah.
That's where I think it was so it pissed me off that they chose Brett Brown over Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy was that dog. And that's the part where, just think about it. We had that dog and Tobias.
Yeah, I know. He carried that Heat team into the finals. Jimmy Butler, right? Or Eastern Conference Finals. East Conference Finals. We would have. I truly believe we were better than the Bucks if we had.
No, wait a minute. Was it the finals?
I thought they made the finals, right?
Yeah, it was the finals.
They lost to the Lakers in the finals.
Yeah, it was the finals.
Jimmy Butler and a
dog,
the tall dude, Abayo or whatever.
Abayo. Yeah. Abayo. Dog.
You mean to tell me that with Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid, we wouldn't have been able to at least give them Lakers a run?
Drop Doc Rivers on that squad.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Man. That's
fucking
crazy. You want to know something I noticed? I'm glad we're talking about it. So with Doc and Ben Simmons, right? I don't know if you've noticed, and I can't remember exactly what games it were, but there were a couple of games where in the past, Brett Brown would have pulled Ben out towards the end of the game because he was a free throw liability, shooting free throws, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've noticed, there's a couple games I've noticed where in those situations where they keep him in there. And he's
not babying him. Doc's not babying Ben.
And he's making him get there, and he's making him stay in there to where he's got to shoot those free throws. Because, listen, if there's one thing that, in my opinion, he's got to be able to do in the playoffs is when he runs it, when he's going into the lane and he kicks out, he's going to have to keep it sometimes and not be afraid of them free throws. So I like it. I think Doc's giving him that practice now in his early part of the season because that's going to pay off if he can get that free throw up to like 70.
Doc and Sam Cassell's not babying Ben Simmons.
No.
But if you notice, sometimes Ben Simmons tries to hide in that dunker spot sometimes. And this is my next question. If you're Daryl Morey, what are you trying to do? What is your ultimate goal at the deadline? Give me your worst case scenario. Give me your best case scenario.
Well, the worst case scenario is I think that he'll buy into the idea that they can win a championship as is, and then they don't, right? Or at least they don't get far enough. If they get another second round exit with Ben Simmons on the team and Doc, it's not going to look good. I'm torn, man. Like, I didn't want James Harden. I'm sorry. I didn't want him.
No,
I thought he messed with Embiid too much. I didn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
I sure as hell didn't want him for like 7 draft picks and Ben Simmons. That wasn't going to happen, right? And Daryl Morey knows that, right?
Yeah.
Would you trade Ben Simmons in a first for Bradley Beal? My first instinct, I want to say no. I'm like the Cubs. I want to see these two guys win a championship together because I think they can. But man, Bradley Beal, I don't know.
This is why Ben is pissing me off. If Ben just made his free throws, he could be at 20, 10, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
If he could just keep some of those where he jumps in the air and throws it 50 feet backwards, he will be a walking 20, 10, and 10.
Listen, I coached 12-year-olds for a long time. That's the one. Don't leave your feet if you don't know what you're going to do. Like, just don't do it.
He's so good at it, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he is kind of good at it, yeah.
That's the thing. He's so amidst. First of all, me and my homegirl, shout out to Rosa, we're convinced that Ben Simmons is a serial killer because you never know. Like, he can make a shot, like he can win the lottery, and it can look like his dog died. Like, you just
he's got no expression. Yeah.
Like when Josh Jackson said, "You a bitch, shut up." There's a reason why he didn't make eye contact with Ben Simmons, because eyes are a window to the soul. And you don't want to stand to a man that could probably take your damn throat with a paper clip. And it was no coincidence that he was like, "You're a bitch, shut up." You ain't gonna look that man you ain't gonna look a man in the eye if you think he could whoop your ass.
Right.
But to be that immense, to be so talented and to be so afraid to be embarrassed, that kind of bothers me because that speaks to mental weakness to me. Like, I'm a 38-year-old, 280-pound guy. You put me in a YMCA right now pickup game, I'm jacking up 43 points.
I don't care.
You know that meme? You know that meme with Spice Adams just jacking them up? That's me. And I ain't Ben Simmons. I'm just, hey, Blue, take out the ball. Blue, we taking out the ball. Why you shooting? That's me. I can't understand why a 6'10" guy as skilled as him is afraid to shoot the ball.
Listen, I'm 6'4", 340, bro. I've gone into the gym with 20-year-olds like I wasn't gonna feel like I got hit by a truck afterwards. I don't care. I ain't getting paid millions of dollars to do it either. But you know what? It's kind of almost like calling the radio, right? You could make a complete ass out of yourself if you don't know what's going on the radio. I don't care.
Right.
Like earlier, you had mentioned about like people try to be like these characters. Listen, I'm me everywhere I go. Whether it's at my house, my family, my friends, my job, calling the radio, doing this. I am a character 24/7. So I have no fear of embarrassment. I don't care. Like, cause I don't care what other people think. Some people aren't wired that way. It sucks that he's not wired that he's wired that way, you know, because if he just didn't care, I don't care if he goes 1 for 5 from 3. Just do it. I don't care if he misses 4 shots right near the free throw. If you can draw a defender, that's all I want you to do. Like, he cares too much. I don't know why he cares too much. Maybe it's a product of his entire life. He never had to be a shooter.
It's a brand. No, it's a brand. He's scared to be. It's the social media era. He shoots an air ball. Guess how many tweets?
And he looks at Twitter. Yeah.
It's fair. Like, I don't care what these athletes say. It's bullshit. You may not look, but your homeboy next to you, damn, Ben, they killing you. They killing you with the air ball, homie. Yeah. Like, so but Ben, I know you ain't listening to Real Time with Prince Blue, but if anybody's close to Ben is listening, brother, you can be one of the all-time greatest. Go do you, man. Be you. Philadelphia will not. Let me tell you something. Allen Iverson didn't shoot like Ray Allen.
No.
But Allen Iverson shot like Allen Iverson.
He shot way more than Ray Allen.
And what that means is we never worried about, damn, why didn't Allen shoot that? Why didn't he give us all he had?
Yeah.
Damn, did Allen play today? We don't really feel like we seen him. That's not one game I've ever said, damn, did Allen make an impact?
I've never had a
negative.
I've never had a negative a reaction to anything he did. Like, because I knew that He didn't care, and he was giving it 110, like 100% every time.
There is a reason why Shaq said he couldn't get under. He said it's two people's skin he couldn't get under. He couldn't get under Iverson's skin. He couldn't get under Olajuwon's skin. He said he couldn't get under Iverson's skin because he said no matter how many times he knocked that dude down, he never stayed on the floor. He would get right back up.
Yep.
And he said Olajuwon, he said he'll give Olajuwon an elbow. He'd be like, good one, big fella. You got me. Like he could never get him out the zone. And we all know Kobe got rest his soul. What he said. He said if Iverson was 6'6", we will all be in trouble. And this is the stuff that Ben Simmons needs to understand. Like, dude, like you gotta have some pride. Josh Jackson called you a bitch. You know that's going. You know he believes that because he's hearing that around the league. He feels that. If a Josh Jackson feels like he can talk to you that way, then you need to come back, man.
Who was it against in the Celtics game the other day? Was it Kemba Walker or Jaylen Brown? One of them gave him the too little.
It was Jaylen. Yeah,
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown doing like this. Ben Simmons is 6'10". Yeah. Jaylen is 6'6". Yeah. If that.
Yeah. He's big for nothing, and he's got to stop being big for nothing, man. There's nothing worse than a big for nothing guy, man. If you're big, you got a responsibility. Listen, if I'm in a room with a bunch of people and someone walks in and they want to start a fight, the first guy that's getting hit is me, right? They're going after the big guy. You gotta.
Or we in a supermarket. I'm like, yo, big man, that top shelf, what's that up there? Yeah. You got to be big for something, man. You can't just be big for no damn reason.
Yeah.
Oh, so let's touch on the Phillies a little bit. JT's back.
Yep.
So all those jokes about Dombrowski and how he's just gonna be a puppet and seem like pulling all the right strings so far. So I can already understand what you're about to say, but how do you like the JT coming back? How do you like that move?
Yeah, it had to be done. I mean, you can't tell me a season ago you're ready to spend stupid money, only get Bryce Harper, let your bullpen weather to nothing. I mean, I've seen better 8th grade bullpens, right? And then not bring back the best catcher in baseball. What, like, it had to get done. I had a real big feeling it was going to get done. I was surprised it took as long as it did. I had a lot of expectations out of them. I know COVID messed up a lot of stuff for sports. I don't want to sit here and give passes to anybody over it. But when you brought in Joe Girardi and you bring in Bryce Harper, I mean, you look at that lineup from 1 through 9 for a while, man. They look like that was a playoff lineup. Like, I don't know what to expect this season. I don't know that the additions that were made are enough. You watch teams around you in your division that got a lot better.
We can't even beat the fucking Marlins, man. Consistently.
That's tough, bro. That's bad. That's not good. I mean, hell, man. Dude, you're running a show off of payroll that the Marlins use for their team right now. You got the same exact payroll for this right now. You can't beat the Marlins, man? Come on.
No, they got a real-time Prince Blue budget. We can't.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to waste Bryce's prime, man. When you get a superstar like that, you got to capitalize on that.
Yeah. And people say, "Oh, you got him for like 13." No, listen, no. The Mets are still paying Bobby Bonilla. All right, it's not.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah, stop it. It doesn't work like that. Or you're gonna be stuck with him, or he's gonna be a shell of himself, like
Ryan Howard.
What's homeboy that left from the Cardinals?
Oh,
Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
Right. I know what I wanted to talk to you about real quick. I'm going to pivot back to the NBA. What do you get about this woe is me, Bradley Beal shit? How do you feel about athletes that continue to stay with losing franchises and continue to get this, they gave it all they got, poor them. Like, how do you feel about athletes like that? Like the Bradley Beals, Larry Fitzgeralds.
Like guys that stay with the organization.
What's the one in baseball that is dead to me because he won't come to the Phillies? Trout.
Mike Trout. Because he signed on the dotted line a year too early.
How do you feel about people like that?
I think a lot of different things go into it. Like in the Mike Trout scenario, you're going to be the richest guy in baseball. You live in California during the season. Whatever. I'm with you. Like
he ain't getting no more fucking footballs. I can tell you that.
Yeah, right. right. There used to be a day, like back in the day, like look at a guy like in basketball, like Reggie Miller. Like Reggie Miller stuck with that Pacer team his whole career, right? Never really got a real legit opportunity to sniff a championship, right? I mean, maybe I think it was one. I think they were in the finals one year. He stayed in Indianapolis. Like, what's to do what? Like, what goes on there?
To be the king.
Huh?
Be the king.
Yeah,
king in a little pond.
You're the man. I guess there's something to say about the loyalty, but like I was a bigger fan of the NBA in like the late 80s, early 90s, even though it was Jordan pretty much owning the league. Like there was a lot of skilled players, there was a lot of talent, and you didn't see guys move around like you do today. And I can't hate. Good for you, the freedom to choose where you want to go. But the idea of super teams and like with Golden State, when they got Kevin Durant, it really soured me on basketball. Like you're already the best team in the league. Like I don't know, it's weird. I don't feel bad for guys that decide to stay. You're making a lot of money. It's hard for me to feel bad for athletes. Period. Like I get you put in a lot of hard work since you were a real young age. Not, you're part of the 2% of the world that might ever make it, right? I get it, but you're making a lot of money, lots of money. These guys make lots of money. I know people hate that conversation, but it's true. I know.
Why would people hate that conversation? Listen. When people be like, "Oh, you don't understand," just because you have money doesn't listen. A lot of the issues in the world is because of money.
Yes.
Either because you don't have any or because you're trying to keep the money that you have.
Yeah.
Like people are not robbing people out here because they got money. They're robbing people because they don't have money.
Look what's going on with the stock stuff today. I mean, I'm not even into that, but I get the gist of it. Rich men are trying to stop poor people from getting rich because they figured out how to game the system. It's the way it works, man. Money rules everything, and it's the root of all evil. But I will tell you this. Somebody wants to offer to pay me $10 million a year to kick me in the nuts every day of the week. All right.
What's that meme with the monk getting kicked in the nuts? It's anything for my family.
So what do you mean? So is Bradley? Are people? What's the deal with Bradley?
Yeah, they showed a picture of him, like a video of him, like he was pretty much about to be in tears because he was upset because he dropped another 40 burger and they're fucking losing. So people was like, "Oh, they got a free bill." I was like, "Listen, he had 3 chances to lead the fucking Wizards, and he signed every single time."
Yeah, he signed for the money.
I don't give a shit. Speaking of Wizards, I got one. I got one for you. You know Merlin the Wizard?
Merlin the Wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Merlin the Wizard was one of the first wizards that I ever met, and he was very versed in the arts of martial.
Okay.
Ew.
My man. Oh, that's awesome, man.
Mike, your face there is priceless. You're like,
I didn't know where I was going. I'm like, Merlin the Wizard.
I don't know what y'all were talking about prior to me coming on, but I know the Wizards came out of fucking nowhere.
That's called a segue, my man.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's up, KM?
What's up, Mark?
Oh, Joe, Mike, I heard you were coming on. I was talking to Prince earlier. I said, dog, send that link over. I ain't talked to Mike in forever. And how many times did we reschedule trying to get together in the past?
I know, man. I know. It's been tough, man. It's been tough.
How's the family? How's the baby?
Oh man, family's good. Baby just getting over being sick. No COVID, thank God. But, her first fever this week. I don't know if you. We're friends on Facebook. I don't know if you caught my Facebook post, but I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes yesterday, man. So I kind of learning a new life starting today, brother. Eating healthy, all that stuff. Trying to lay off the drinking and smoking and all, you know. But you know,
hey Mike, it was. And Mike, when I
good,
said, and Mike, when I said welcome to the family, man, I meant it. You know, I'm type 2, so if you need anything, any advice, or you need to ask about something you're unsure of, I'm gonna give you my number offline, man, and just hit me with a text, man. I done been on every medicine from A through Z, man.
I appreciate it.
I can help you out with that, man. But it's gonna be a long road, just one day at a time, man. Just be better than yesterday, man.
That's right. You're right. How's the wife, Mark? She good?
Taking care of life, bro. I just can't. I'm like a Louis purse, bro. All I do is hang out on an arm and look good. That's my job. You know? She takes care of it. Nah, for real. Alicia's the shit. Yeah, she really is. No She's doubt. Healthy. She's good.
We're aware.
One of the first times I actually met Mark. It's funny. Mark, I don't know if I even told you this. We were at Fan Fest. Me and a couple of my buddies, and my buddy goes, "Yo, check her out." Gives me one of them, and I look over. I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, that's Karate Mark." I go over, and they're like, "That's what I would." If it wasn't for my buddy tapping him on the shoulder, you tell Alicia that I wouldn't even see that. I don't think.
Yeah, he's used to that. But what he didn't tell you was back in the early 2000s when people used to tap Alicia, you should be like, "Hey, that's Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray." So
if we're gonna talk about what we looked like in the past, Prince, you could just pull up your non-beard pics, bro. Come on.
Oh yeah, I burned all those.
Oh man. Like, I don't think I'm gonna ever shave my beard, man. I'm gonna be looking like
right after Corona started. It was like April, and I had a Britney Spears moment. I shaved the whole thing off. It looked bad. It looked real bad. Oh man, it looked like Patrick from SpongeBob, like doing this all the time. You couldn't tell where my chin ended and my neck started. It was all jacked up.
I'm gonna be old as shit. I'm gonna look like Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China, yo. My shit gonna be stringy. I'm not shaving this shit for nothing, man.
Well, like you're like a sea lion. There's a lot of necks.
But now that I got you, Mark, we was talking about the Sixers a little bit, and we was talking about last night, and we was pretty much coming to me and Mike was coming to the conclusion that Ben is Ben, but we can't quit him. But we were saying that Tobias has the green light, and we was trying to figure out why doesn't he use that green light more? Like, he can be that 25-point guy. We don't know why he's so, I guess I could say, unselfish when it comes to scoring the basketball. Like, I think he could legit be a 25-a-night guy.
I've been a big Tobias Harris fan for a long time, long before the Sixers. I think he's an excellent role player. I think when he came to the Sixers, there was an expectation of him being the guy, and he's not the guy. He's not going to take over a game. He's not going to win games for you. Yeah, he had that game-winning shot last night, but that wasn't the game plan going into last night. All right, Tobias, you got the ball at the end. That's how it naturally occurred. I think Tobias, without the pressure of being the guy, has stepped up and said, all right, since I'm not Joe, I'm not Ben, I'm Tobias. So if one of them is having an off night, I'm going to step up and I'm going to do this. Or if I just need a couple points in the fourth quarter, I'm going to step up and do this. So I think once the role of him being the guy was taken off of his shoulders, he's now playing his game, which is an 18 to 23 a night score. On a good night, maybe 25, 30. I think his problem is he's ugly as shit at the rim. I think he's good for another 6 to 8 points a game if he's just a little softer, a little smoother at the rim.
He's not an athlete.
He's athletic. He's athletic. He's not graceful.
Right. So he's clunky.
He's smooth. He's athletic, but it's almost like he throws it with the palm. When he gets within 5 feet, you put him 20 feet out. He's got a perfect jump shot. Nice flick of the wrist.
Oh,
you put him within 5 feet. It's shot put.
That jumper over Caruso, it hit nothing. It was water. It was water.
Tobias at 12 to 20 feet, 80% plus, easy.
Now he was the man at LA before he came, right? Who else was he? Was it him and Patrick Beverly? I think, right?
Like it was him. Doc ran through him. Doc ran it through him.
And I think that's where my expectation came because I didn't know much about him. You know, I knew he played for Magic, I knew him, but
I knew he used to always kill the Sixers when we played him, no matter what team he was
So when
on.
he was the man on the Clippers, they were basically the Sixers pre what the hell?
With Andre Iguodala, they was like the 43 win type team.
8th seed every year, 7th, 8th seed every year, and Tobias was good for that, keeping the team in the 8th seed. But he's not the man. He's a role player, and he's a great role player. And I love him on this squad. And shit, how good did the whole team play last night?
Yeah,
on a game that Seth wasn't even on. Seth played like ass last night.
He's played like ass since he got back. He's just not himself. He's giving up 3-pointers. Like he's hesitant on pulling the trigger. He looks so clunky right now. Like
last night was the best
COVID
game.
Shit, like really like took him out.
Last night was the best game the entire team has played together.
Oh yeah.
And that was still minus
game they lose by 20 last
big time piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt. What did you guys think? What did you guys think about LeBron's foul on Embiid last night?
Oh,
who? I don't think LeBron deserved. Go, Prince. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it was more about I didn't like the way the team reacted. Now Ben, I get it. LeBron is a big brother. It's clutch sports. But if you look at the replay, AD was like, because he was like, ouch. I didn't like the fact that LeBron stood over him and didn't like check on him. Like
Schroeder
normally
right
when it's like a foul like that, you're like, oh shit. Like you're like, hey, you good? Yeah. And then you walk off. If it was any time where I thought LeBron was feeling himself, he was like, I'm LeBron James. How dare you come at me? It was that moment because it was like he had an aura around him and nobody was questioning the king. That's when I needed Mike Scott. I needed Mike Scott to be there and be like, I would slap the carpet off your head. But no, to answer your point, Mike, I did not know. I did not like that at all. I didn't like the theatrics afterwards. That bothered me more than the push.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch because I didn't even see the foul. I didn't think it was flagrant. I didn't see him standing over. I thought Joe broke his fucking tailbone.
Yeah.
So I was holding my breath and like Alicia's sitting next to me. I fucking grabbed her pants. I'm like, oh my God. And that shit was scary, bro. Like, but then I looked at the second replay. I swear to God, he'd be in the hospital today if his right calf, right heel kind of hit the floor ever so gingerly first. And I think that took a lot of that pound off because my man hit both of them bad fucking hip bones. Oh my God.
KM, let me ask you real quick. As a martial arts guy, Embiid, man, like, is it a way you can teach him? Because he falls entirely too funny, like for me, to be the athlete that he is.
Dog, you're in my head. He falls better today than he did yesterday. He's gotten better at falling. Falling is an art. Falling is an art, and it's something that you have to train. And when we teach falling in martial arts, we teach that if you fall the right way, it hurts. If you fall 100% correct, it hurts. You hit the floor, you hit the ground. you don't fall in slow motion. You know, like you hit the floor hard. You hit the floor the wrong way, you break shit. So and I've taken notice of that. He has learned how to fall, and he's getting better at it.
Shit.
You don't want to. That's still 300 pounds hitting the floor.
I'll tell you, and the reason I asked is the only thing that I didn't like about it is it happened because LeBron didn't want to be on a poster. Like, you're supposed to be the best player in the league, bro. You need to get up there and contend that shot. You didn't want to be a poster because if you watch and B was cracked,
he was going, Mike. And you know, Mike. And you know if he was gonna make him hear about it.
No doubt.
But I saw the slow motion. I was like,
yeah. Like,
all
right.
No.
You saw that in slow motion? See, I seen that thing in fast forward, man. That one scared the Christ out of me.
My guy was out for the season because LeBron didn't want to be on a poster, man. It would have been a big problem.
And we gonna get into that tomorrow when me and Lyles go at it about MJ versus LeBron. That's just another check mark for me why MJ is the GOAT. But
always.
Go ahead.
Always the GOAT.
MJ was the one that got
motherfuckers on posters.
Yo, how about Blake Griffin getting on his feelings with Ben D'ing him up the other day too?
You listen, I saw that. He was in his feelings.
He was getting mad.
I noticed a lot of people are trying to take Ben out his game that way. Not even about the scoring, but when he's D'ing him up, they're like trying to be chippy and do little funny shit with him to get him into foul trouble, because they know when Ben's locked on, you're in a phone booth with him. That's why it's so hard to give up on that dude, because when it comes playoff time, you need that. You need that 6'10" guy who can move, who can guard the Tatums, the Browns, the Giannis.
Let me cut you off there. Because Ben gets accused of being mentally soft, and it's very hard to argue the people that think he is because of the whole shot thing. I believe there's only two people in this league that are in Ben's head. Like Blake Griffin the other day, trying to get in his head, and Ben does his typical face.
Yeah.
I've been around here for decades. So are you.
Mike. He's a serial killer.
There's two people that could get inside Ben's cranium, and they just happen to play on the same team. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They got property up in that head, bro. They got real estate in that head. They do, and that's a problem. But we're gonna see this year. Y'all know I believe in Ben.
Before you brought it up. Blake Griffin has become the biggest thief in sports. I mean, that dude has become like the goon in hockey. Like, he gets paid $32 million this season.
Oh, he quit once he left Los Angeles. His career, he quit. Yeah, he was LA. He's done. Like, he was LA. His whole persona fit LA. He's not a Detroit player. Like, he's done. Yeah, you're right. He's stealing money. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. One thing I wanted to get before we wrap it up is I wanted to get y'all take on McGregor, since we got Mark on. What happened, boss?
I talked to a lot of people before the fight. Anybody that was gambling on the fight, I said stay away from it, because there's 100 different outcomes of this fight that are all legit, could happen.
I put all my money on Poirier.
On the knockout? Did you put money on the knockout? My man got paid. Drinks on Mike.
I got paid.
Diet Cokes and beers on Mike all day.
Coke Zero.
All right. So I'm gonna brag about myself, and then I'm also gonna say where I went wrong. Like, I can watch a fight and just tell you what's gonna happen next by the flow of the fight. I can tell you I'm good at that. I have educated eyes. I understand the flow. And one of my homies was watching the fight, and he was like, yo, man, he's taking them leg kicks too much. And I said, no, watch. He's bending his knee down, and he's purposely taking the leg kick because he's going to catch his ankle and then overhand left him. 2 seconds after I said that, he did it. Just so happens the overhand left ain't knock him out. And the next leg kick ended the fight.
Yeah.
I read that wrong, where I thought Conor was setting him up, because that's a common setup. That when someone kicks you in the leg, you squat your leg down, you take it, and then you catch their ankle while it's right there on your hip. It works when it works. If it doesn't work, you go limping out that ring. So I think Conor did have a game plan. I think it was working excellent because he was tattooing his ass. And the fight was at the length of Conor's arm. And had 4-ounce gloves. Bam! Fight's over. Who fights with 4-ounce gloves, bro? What the fuck is wrong with that?
Well, Mike, what was the whole controversy with Khabib when he was saying that he should have kept his original sparring partners? He shouldn't have been sparring with teenagers. What was all that about?
No clue. No clue. Mark
I don't know if you saw that.
People are saying Conor lost this fight because he introduced himself a movement coach. So he stopped doing Conor the last 12 months, pretty much since quarantine, has been on this real big health kick. He started his app, he transformed his whole body, and his whole thing has been health. I'm really starting to think he took advantage of quarantine and he's still all about that money. And he got all these new coaches and he trained up his camp. But I'm still saying he looked like the better fighter. He took one too many kicks, or maybe not one too many. Maybe just that one. Maybe it was 1 out of 10. Maybe 9 didn't do shit. Maybe one of them did. I don't know. But look up something about like a movement coach. And there's just weird story about like this guy's teaching him how to move now or some shit.
Let me, Mark, I'm going to ask you a question then. So that kick, the kick that did it, right, with his leg, right? How much of that contributed to the fact that he basically left himself open and got demolished, like with that hook, right? I mean, you know, when Poirier got him, the shot that got McGregor, when it happened, in my mind, I knew my money was good because I knew what was coming after that, right? The haymakers were just coming at it. So, like, I guess as a fighter, like, if you got that kind of an injury, if you take that kind of a hit to a leg, or you know it's tender, right? You're thinking about it, I guess, right? Like, I mean, in the flow of a fight, how can that impact you as far as what you should do going forward? You know what I mean?
I'm going to give you a very specific yet vague answer. It could be a matter of an inch. You like that spot at the bottom of your thigh muscle, above your knee. That's one of the worst places to get hit. In general, at the bottom of your bicep, above your elbow, at the top of your bicep, below your shoulder, where the muscle connects to the joint is the most dangerous place to hit somebody. If I hit you in the center of the thigh, flush, it's going to hurt. But muscles do function things. They do protective things. If I hit you in the connector, what connects the thigh to the knee itself, there's no protection there. That's just instant swelling. So it could be a shot right above the shin muscle, right below the knee, that just golf ball right away, and you can't do nothing about it. Or who knows? That's what I'm saying. Like it could have been, say he took 10 kicks. It could have been the second one that did it. And now 5 minutes later, it's just like too much. It could have been the last one that did. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's literally within inches. If something's not broke, there's a major, major difference between the muscle, the joint, and the connectors. And the connectors are the bad, bad ones. And what's brutal about it is that 1 minute break in between rounds.
Yeah.
When your blood slows down, when your heart slows down, when everything, it settles. Now you can't move that joint. It's going to hurt more tomorrow. believe it ain't hurt him that bad. It ain't hurt him that bad in the second round. He was hurting like a motherfucker 10 minutes later, and he was hurting 100 times more the day after. But that's like a football player.
Right.
A football player gets blasted. They don't feel shit in the third quarter. You know they feel it Monday. You know, but that 1 minute break, that 1 minute break is detrimental to fighters sometimes.
And there it is. My man. Well, I appreciate y'all, man. This has been a outstanding episode. My man Mike from Delran, you know you definitely ain't gonna be a stranger. And like I said, man, I want to try to. Me and Mike was talking offline about this. I think I'm just gonna. I've been running away from it, trying to be, I guess you want to say, anti-radio or whatever, but I'm just gonna say fuck it, man. Since it's not what we want and what we're not used to, fuck it, man. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like if I'm ever doing something, like I'm throwing the link out there, everybody. If y'all want to get in, y'all agree with something, you don't agree with something. It's just like radio. Just click the link. You'll be in the lobby. I'll click you in, and then we can talk. We can talk about it. It's simple, man. It don't have to be just me in here. Let's fuck it. We don't have to. And I'm not gonna cut you off after 30 seconds, and I'm not gonna not let you get your piece or get your say. I'm not gonna say this is the Real Time with Prince Blue show at every break. Like I don't know my own fucking name. I think sometimes they repeat it because they don't know their own names. Like, hey, like I know who you are, but fuck it. I'm just gonna go like that. I'm gonna put starting on Sunday. Not Sunday. We'll start next week. I'm gonna put the link out there when I go live. And if y'all click the link, y'all be in the lobby and I'll bring y'all in. If y'all want to say, hey man, I want to talk about funnel cakes. Well, fuck it. I think I know a little bit about funnel cakes. Let's go. And then we just gonna do it, man. There's no structure here.
Got my ears perked up on funnel cake, yo.
I love funnel cakes, man. That's why that's why me and Mike,
you know what
man,
you're missing up here? You know what you're missing up here in Philly, Prince?
What?
You mentioned funnel cake, deep fried butterscotch crimpets. I'm telling you, my bad, Mike.
Come on, man. You know me and Mike can't eat that.
Let me tell you. You mentioned funnel cake. Funnel cake is this fucking big. I'm talking about deep fried crimpet, right? Bro, something about it. It turns into the best tasting funnel cake you ever had in your life.
I gotta go take an insulin shot just from hearing that.
Karate Mark's the worst. Like if you have it, if you know when you have like the angel and the devil on one shoulder, I got Mason Storm, and on the other shoulder I got Karate Mark. And they both be telling me to do some fucked up shit. Take him to the blood bank. Thank you,
That's
Mason.
me. Devil on the other. What would Meek do? Devil on the other. What would Mark do?
But thank you, everybody, man. This has been Real Time with Prince Blue with my homeboys, Mike from Delran, my homie, my sensei, my boxing extraordinaire, Karate Mark. I will see y'all Sunday. No, actually, I will see y'all tomorrow when I go up against Lyle, when we argue about who's the GOAT, MJ versus LeBron. Y'all already know I'm team MJ. Make sure y'all tune in for that because I'm getting so fucking sick of Lyle hollering about LeBron James and his damn hair plugs. I'm going to finally put a damn squash to this shit. If y'all want to get in and put y'all 2 cents in, tomorrow's your time. Don't let tomorrow pass it. Do you want to talk all this shit on the timeline? Because I'm giving y'all the opportunity to do it. So, this has been Real Time Prince Blue. I'm sponsored by my goddamn self. I don't have any sponsors. If you want to sponsor me, know where to find me. Oh, that's right. I'm sponsored by Karate Mark Nipples.
That's only in the summer.
Candy corn. Oh man, this shit just went off the rails. Okay, this is Real Talk, Prince Blue. I'm out. Y'all be safe. Oh yeah. Rest in peace, Cicely Tyson. We lost a great one. All right. Go Birds. Go Sixers. Go Flyers. Go Phillies. Welcome back, JT. Let's do it.